Why sometimes a rainmaker cannot really make it rain. So I hire the right person to make the sales. Sales are not coming. What's happening? If you are not born in Canada, but you're now doing business here, you're in the right place. Click here the subscribe button, set up the alert, and if the content of this video is useful for you, let us know by clicking the like button. So here's what happens, right? And it happens a lot, especially businesses that already had some degree of success, let's say back home in a different country, in a different market, and suddenly they want to venture into a different direction. And it's a natural human tendency to use past strategies that worked well in a given context, and we copy and paste and adjust to the new one. Say, hey, if it worked there, it's going to work here too, right? It's a very natural way of thinking. What a lot of business owners also understand very well is that sales don't really happen automatically, right? In the very rare cases when it does, there was a lot of investment in branding and whatnot, right? So the clients just come to you, right? So for example, these days that everybody is downloading ChatGPT and using the paid version, it's not like a ChatGPT salesperson had to call me and convince me to download. It's like there's this awareness that AI is this fantastic tool for research and for a bunch of brainstorming, organizing thoughts and information that, of course, I just went ahead and downloaded. But that's a very rare thing to happen in the overall universe of businesses out there. Most people need somebody to make calls to make the sales, right? It's not like I created something, now people are going to buy from me. It's like, okay, I have to hire somebody and go and make the sales. Okay, so let's put these two things together. There is this past experience that I already had a degree of success in a different geography, and now I'm coming to this new geography, and what do? I hire a salesperson that has a good penetration, good networking, understands, knows a lot of people, has a lot of contacts, a lot of relationships. So that's gonna work like wonders, right? That's the normal mindset. It's like, okay, everything is ready. All I need is somebody to go and knock on doors, because that's how you make sales, by knocking on doors and talking to a lot of people. But everything is ready. This is the problem. This everything is ready mindset, sometimes it's not accurate. And how can we tell? Well, sometimes you just make a bad hire. That does happen. But in most cases, that's not what happens, because that's the automatic thing that the business owner is going to do. They're going to blame the salesperson. Oh, they didn't try hard enough. They didn't make enough calls. When it was me making the sales back home in my country of origin, I created all these sales. And now that I hired this local guy in Canada, they can get success. They probably were not as committed. They're not as good as I was. Well, that's the lazy way of thinking. Okay, they were just not good as I was before. That's why they couldn't get the results. The reality probably is more nuanced. It's like there are conditions under this new circumstance that do not mirror 100% the success that has been experienced before. Unless we're very honest about finding these conditions, you can hire how many stellar people you want for sales, and all you're gonna do over time is to blame one person, then blame the next person, then blame somebody else. It's just, I was not lucky. I just couldn't find people that were committed enough to make the sales. Everything was ready. Well, that rarely is the case. What are some things that we see here? Okay, let's put ourselves in the shoes of this person that you're hiring to make the sales for you in Canada. Maybe they have good connections. Maybe they are deterred. Let's assume you're hiring a good person, right? Of course, there are people out there that are going to drag their feet and kind of pretend that they're working and all that. But let's say you are a good judge of character and you know how to hire good people, right? So let's assume you did that. So you hired a good person that is well equipped, does have the willingness and the ability to go after the sales. We need to think about the obstacles this person's gonna face, right? And say, yeah, a good salesperson is gonna go over any obstacle. Yeah, kind of true, but let's see if we can make their lives a little easier. What's the scenario that these people face when they start to try to sell your product or service in Canada, something that's new to the market? Well, first thing, there is everybody that's worked with startups or something, there's a moment when you bring, especially something innovative, there's an adoption curve, right? You have the early adopters are the first ones that are they just get it. They see things the same way you see. They say, oh yeah, of course, let's buy it. Unfortunately, these are a minority. And there's an added layer of complication if you're bringing a solution from a different geography. Because then people are going to say, well, this worked in that scenario, but maybe it doesn't work here, right? So you have that added complication. Some people that are early adopters, very creative, they say, wow, great, this already exists in your country. It's not here in Canada. I'm going to be the first ones buying it here. I'm going to benefit more than anybody else. But again, these are the early adopters. These are the innovators. These are people that take a chance. And most people, especially in larger companies, they're not going to be like that. They're going to be very risk averse. People can lose their jobs by making like wrong purchases and stuff. Like there's a joke that people say, nobody ever got fired by hiring IBM, right, to do something for them. I mean, you hire the big company with a big name, and if something doesn't go according to plan, it's not because you didn't do your homework to find the right supplier, right? But if somebody's taking a chance to buy from a relatively unknown company that's just coming to the market, then people are going to say, well, why did you choose these guys and not the well-established somebody else who's here, right? So there is a risk that the buyer is taking into buying something from somebody new that is just arriving. Even the salesperson themselves that you hired in Canada has been in the market for a long time, knows everybody, they trust this person. But then they bring a product, they say, well, you know what, you're a great person, I really like to deal with you, but I'm not sure about this thing. I say, yeah, sure, go ahead, buy, I can vouch for it. Well, you know, it's kind of complicated. There is reluctance to buy something from, like people don't like to be the first ones, right? So here's how we can do it successfully, right? We need to think about a few things in terms of what are we putting in the hands of this salesperson in Canada so they can be successful. We have to imagine what kind of objections and resistance they're going to feel in the market, right? Because anybody who tried to start a career in Canada or tried to bring a new product faces the same question, which is, who else has bought it? Or what's your Canadian experience? So when we don't have that social proof that somebody else already buys this product or service and is already happy, and preferably somebody exactly like me, it makes it much easier. Somebody's like, oh yeah, so-and-so my neighbor is buying this? Or yeah, I can buy it too, for sure, right? There's kind of a validation. Somebody else already did part of the homework, and there's a proof that this thing works. That's why I can see it working for them. I'm going to buy too, right? But if you don't have that, it puts the buyer in a very risky situation, having to be the first, right? So it has nothing to do with your salesperson and how good they are at reaching or convincing people. It has to do with the mechanics of the psychology of the buyer that is not sure about buying something that nobody else bought yet. Why should I be the first? So that's why building the reputation of the product. Let's say, well, but if nobody wants to be the first, how do I find the first one, right? That's why I hired a salesperson. Fair enough. So let's build some type of comfort that people can achieve. It's like, let's do quick demonstrations. Let's have summary materials. Let's make sure, especially if your company is delivering the value proposition in Canada, but using your existing infrastructure from back home, you have to make sure that everybody that's involved in the process is aligned with the Canadian mission, so that the salesperson is not fighting internal fights to be able to meet the needs of the people that they're talking to here. So it's a lot about aligning the needs of the client, the wants of the client, and the restrictions and the objections that the client have. We need to make the purchase really easy. We need to make, oh yeah, we are worried about this? No problem. We already have a solution for this. So the way you can arrive at this type of understanding, instead of first hiring a salesperson, go out there and pound the pavement and make the sales, you need to learn first and listen from people. What is that makes that purchase a no-brainer? The minute you understand that, you talk to ideally somebody who already bought the product or the service and is able to give testimonials and explain why it's a no-brainer to buy it. They say, yeah, sure, I have to buy. Then you take that testimonial and you copy and paste and go talk to other people like that person and say, hey, you see this one bought? This is what they said. So it's exactly the same situation as you. Buy from me too. So that's the ideal. Let's say we don't have that ideal situation. If we don't have the ideal situation, we go for information interviews first. We go talk to the people first, right? And we go there understanding from them what it is that they need And then we need to put our whole organization, our marketing materials, the support people, everybody who's gonna touch that sale somehow supporting that frontline person, that's a salesperson. Everybody else needs to be aligned to make that sale happen smoothly and easily. It's not about, oh, you're the salesperson, you're the one that should be convincing the other side about how this is good. Like when you put all the burden on the salesperson, salespeople are good. They're gonna sell. They say, yeah, sure, I can do that. But probably you're paying that person not to get results for you, right? And they're probably looking for something else to do. So it's not good. It's good that people believe in what they're trying to sell because they feel supported. They feel that there is a story behind them. The marketing materials are there, the teams are there, the story is there, right? So that's how we achieve more of this potential success without having to rely on the rainmaker. So it's not, the rainmaker is not important in the end, right? Ideally, anybody well qualified with sales techniques should be able to sell your product or service. It's not like you're not hiring the talent, the Messi of soccer, right? To go there, or the LeBron James from basketball, the Wayne Gretzky from hockey. If you're relying on that star to make it happen, it's because there is weakness in the organization as a whole. So, and that's not the position we want to be. We want our organization to be so well structured that anybody pounding the pavement and making the calls will make it happen, because everything is so structured, so well developed, and so ready. Right? That's what we want, right? If everything looks a little bit confusing here and looks a bit too much, there's good news. We have our platform here, Your Business in Canada, and we have a lot of supporting materials here that you can have access in this journey. So you can come on board our platform together with other business people like you that will be taking this journey to grow their business in Canada, okay? And there's a few more videos here for you to check in this journey, okay? Good luck.